Greetings, fellow researchers. The purpose of this PowerPoint is to help you write the third chapter of your research paper. This chapter is sometimes called the methodology chapter, and in it you describe with some detail the processes that you went through to conduct this research. It demonstrates to whoever reads your research that you've done all the things you do to be able to justify the claims or the findings of your paper. And then it also provides blueprints. Should anybody want to try and duplicate your study, they would know exactly how to do that because you've outlined exactly the steps that you took in order to be able to conduct the research. In the syllabus, we gave you these guidelines. Obviously, there's all kinds of ways that you could organize this chapter and all different kinds of sections that you could use. We're suggesting that you use these 4 sections: a section on the participants, the design, the instrumentation, and the data. When you start the chapter, go ahead and insert a page break, and then center and in bold, type chapter 3 with the colon and the word methodology. The first section that you are going to use in this chapter is called participants, and so according to APA, this is called the second level heading. You would go ahead and double space, type in bold the word participants. This particular section of this chapter answers 2 questions: who will participate in the study and how they were selected. The who is basically the demographic information and a little bit about the logistical information. So you're going to go ahead and describe who these people are. Are they faculty? Are they students, parents, or whomever? And give a little bit of demographic information, number of male and female, and the ethnicity of the folks in the study. You're going to talk about the location, but you're going to be very, very vague and general about it. You're not going to say this was a high school in the Fresno Unified School District. You're going to say a high school in a urban area in the Central Valley of in California Central Valley, or something like that, to give a sense of where the study took place, but not the specifics of it. Again, this is going to be to protect the identity of the participants because we don't want anything to come back on them that might make their lives difficult. The next part of that section is how you selected these people. That's where you're going to talk about the sampling method. So you can remember in the book, there's a number of different ways that you can sample individuals. Most of the time, it's just convenient sampling. We're just going to sample the folks that are at hand. But there are some other samples that you might use. Go ahead and check out Creswell, page 207, to be able to find specifics on the different sampling methods. You're going to choose one and just describe what that sampling method actually means. The next section is the design of this study. So again, you're going to go ahead and label this a new section. You're going to call it design. You're going to bold, justify it left. So in this section, you will talk about the design of the program. Basically, you're going to describe everything that you did, every step of the way, just like you were designing or just like you were describing a recipe. So just think through all the steps that you went through in order to be able to conduct the survey. And you're going to go ahead and break that down by the steps that you use for quantitative and the steps that you use for qualitative. The next section is the instrumentation. Basically, this is what you use to be able to get the data that you used for your report. Again, you're going to divide it up into quantitative and qualitative. Under the qualitative section, you're going to talk about the instruments that you used for the data collection and processing. So for quantitative, you would describe the survey that you used, the number of questions that were in your survey. Basically, just summarize the kind of information that you are going to collect in the survey. You don't go into great detail, but you will include the survey in the appendix of your document. But in this section, you're going to just broadly talk about what the survey was designed to collect. In the qualitative section, you're going to go ahead and talk about how you gather the information. In our case, it will probably be an interview, and again, the same kind of thing, just in a broad sense how it is or what it was that you're going to be looking for. The next section is the data section. And again, we're going to break it down in by quantitative and qualitative sections. In the data section for quantitative, you're going to actually describe what the data will look like. So the information comes from the instrument, and then you're going to go ahead and from that create data. In the quantitative section, you're going to talk about whether or not you're going to run a t-test or an ANOVA or a correlation. And then you're going to tell us which program that you used to be able to describe that. We're going to use the SPSS program that came with your textbook and describe the version that you used. And the reason for this is because different devices, or different software use different kind of methodologies to be able to, or formulas to be able to conduct these samplings, and so, or to use these samplings to be able to conduct a research project. So we're going to go ahead and describe that is in case somebody runs one data set using one statistical program, they might come up with a slightly different result. So we want to be able to identify which program you use. For qualitative, the qualitative section, you're going to go ahead and describe which theory you used. We're recommending that you use grounded theory. So under this section, you would just go ahead and describe what grounded theory is. Well, that's about it for this section. This shouldn't take more than 4 to 6 pages for our purposes. And again, the idea behind this section is to give people an idea, of the person who reads your paper, the idea of how this particular research was conducted.